Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. This is a game called Planetarium that I really enjoyed. I thought that it would be a lot more difficult and in-depth than it actually was. So you've got a pretty straightforward rule book here, and I will definitely say that as far as theme goes, this is one that I thought was really cool. You've got the board here, and I just think the board looks absolutely amazing. It just looks like a game that would be really fun to play, and it is indeed fun to play as well from my experience. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. So this is not intended to be a full review or anything like that. It is a quick overview of the rules here. And just kind of some of the basics of what this game is, and I want to let you know why this game may or may not be right for you. So you've got a bunch of different components here. You have all of these matter tokens right here. So you've got, I believe it's four. You have four different types of matter. You've got gas, rock, water, and metal. And so you're going to shuffle those up, and you're going to put them on all of these dots out on the board. So you've got all of them out on the board there. And then you have these four planets, A, B, C, and D, that are moving around on this board right here on this map. And so as you move it, you can move it in a couple of different ways. You can move it into the next ring, out to the next ring, or straight ahead. And when you move that one, you're actually going to collect whatever matter is on that. So if I have A, or let's say B, if I have B right here on B, and I'm moving it forward one, I would collect whatever that resource is and put it on to B. And so you're collecting different resources on the different planets, and your opponent is doing the same thing. So they may actually take the planet that you were using, and they may move it somewhere that you don't actually want it to go. And so that is really a unique, interesting bit of that, the game here. But one of the things that I think is that's the aspect that I think is really cool, is you may have up to 4 players. This is a 2 to 4 player game. You may have 4 players all moving something that you actually need to be in a different place. And so it got a really interesting piece of strategy involved, where you don't know what the other people are trying to do, and so you're not necessarily moving it to hinder them on purpose. I feel like there's some other games where you're specifically trying to attack other players. This one, you're more so trying to do what you're trying to do on your cards. And so there's a number of cards here. There's kind of 3 varying levels of these cards. There's basically easy, medium, and then there's the final cards, which you can only play at the very end of the game. But it's really interesting as you're trying to gather different resources for different cards and play them for points. And then all the while you're trying to keep in mind how to be able to get the final evolution cards, is what they're called. And so it's really interesting as all of the matter tokens get taken up, and then you play them through the cards, and then they end up going on this tracker around here, and then play speeds up a little bit when you get to here, and when you get to the end, it's the final evolution. So you can really track that really well. And I thought this was a game that was going to take a lot longer than it actually did. I played just with my wife and I, and we really enjoyed it. I thought it would be much more in-depth. I feel like it's got just the right amount of just different factors to try and keep track of without being too terribly in-depth. So it's a game that I definitely would say is a strategy game, but I wouldn't say it's a super heavy strategy game, and it's one that you can definitely play in about an hour. I'd say your first time playing, and less than that later on, depending on how quickly people are taking their turns. So a really enjoyable game. I really thought it was unique in some of its aspects, and these are kind of fun too. These are just the tokens that you use to track your score over here as well. So overall, really fun game. Really enjoyed it. It was something that I definitely will be coming back to soon, and I'm curious to see how it plays with different numbers of players a little bit too. So hopefully that's given you guys just a quick touch and a taste of what this game is, what it does, and why it may or may not be right for you. Thanks.